All right, it's 3:30. This is a special called meeting of the Salina City Commission. It's July 30th at 3:30 p.m. We'll call the meeting to order and we'll have a roll call, please.
Mayor Ryan.
Here.
Commissioner Davis.
Here.
Commissioner Hay.
Here.
Commissioner Hodges.
Here.
Commissioner Hoppick.
Here.
If you are able, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We have one item on today's agenda under administration, 3.1.
Item 3.1, resolution number 18-7586, authorizing the mayor to execute a consent to an assignment of transferee agreement, development agreement, rights to receive star bond proceeds and CID reimbursements, and security agreement between FIB LLC and American State Bank and Trust Company.
Mr. Schrag, you have a staff report for us.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. This relates to the alley project, and as we negotiated and drafted the development agreement that then also provided for transferee agreements, I would like to say that we take the credit for it, but the attorney for Salina 2020 and our bond counsel anticipated the likelihood that it would be necessary to give each transferee the opportunity to assign their revenue stream from star bond revenues and CID proceeds to their lender in order to secure their financing. And so the development agreement already included a provision that provided that any third party may, without the city's consent, assign or pledge to a financial institution providing such financing its rights under the agreement, including the right to receive reimbursement for eligible costs incurred, and that the third party shall provide city with notice of such assignment. So that was the approach that was provided in the development agreement. In the case of the alley, their financing institution has specifically asked that we formalize that further in terms of consenting to that assignment. And so the item that's before you today is the resolution that the city clerk described that is authorizing the mayor to execute a consent to assignment of transfer agreement and development rights. So above and beyond the provisions in the development agreement, this action that you're being asked to take today would execute an agreement of consenting to assignment specific to the alley project. I know you've heard me rattle off these strategic plan goals a number of times, but this action would be in conformance with the goals that Salina will be a city that's exciting to live in and thriving economically and socially. It'll be clean, attractive, and inviting. It will be a place of quality of life that appeals to residents and visitors. It'll be attractive and well-maintained. That downtown will be a thriving, vibrant place, and that we're encouraged and supportive of economic expansion and market-driven tax-based growth. In terms of a fiscal note, there's no financial impact unique to this action since it was already accounted for in the development agreement. And so the options that staff's identified for your consideration are to approve the resolution as it's been presented to you. You could postpone consideration of the resolution to a specified date and provide any additional direction to staff or the applicant regarding additional information or that you'd like for your consideration. Or you could choose not to approve the resolution, possibly jeopardizing the alley's project financing and resulting in FIB as their corporate name and their lender needing to rely on the authority in the development agreement itself. Staff recommends option number 1. There are representatives of both Salina 2020 as well as the alley project here today that could speak to it more specifically. It's my understanding, somewhat secondhand, that the project may be closing as early as tomorrow, I've heard. So everything's lining up to facilitate that. So with that, we have in the audience Guy Walker from Salina 2020, Frank and Kathy DeSocio from the Alley Project, and Larry Burdigam from Salina 2020 as well. They may wish to address you or certainly be available to answer any questions.
Thank you for that. Staff, we have any questions for staff first? And we'll let F.
I just got a couple now. You said that you're hoping it's going to close tomorrow. And would you like to step?
I am not that tall.
What is your anticipated date to start construction, and if it closes tomorrow? I mean, what are we looking at for a timeline right now?
Donlinger is ready to drop a trailer as soon as the bank gets their no start certificate, which should happen tomorrow afternoon. So Donlinger would drop a trailer on Wednesday morning, and we would be able to start.
And I would add to that they've been through the design review process for the downtown project and received Heritage Commission approval, and the footing and foundation permit's been
Right.
submitted, reviewed, approved, and ready to issue.
Yeah, we have I think they actually have the underground and the land use permit in hand. So we are patiently waiting for all the banking things to get in place.
Other questions?
Actually, I have a question. I think it's for staff, not you, Ms. DeSocio. And maybe it is. Why, since we're 60 days late on the project as it stands now, why, was there a reason why we needed to meet today?
Mostly to expedite the closing that is scheduled for as early as tomorrow.
Okay.
So, in the interest of timing, of keeping the project moving, and the fact that you already had a special meeting scheduled, if this were a standalone item, we might have rolled it over till next Monday.
Gotcha. Are all of our infrastructure upgrades complete at this point? The ones that the extensions that we were doing to the site?
Yeah, well, previously, you took action to vacate the right-of-way
Right.
and retain a utility easement, and so that action was the basis for the Utilities Department to contract for both the hotel project and the alley project relocation of the sewer. So in the case of the hotel project, you probably recall that we worked out a way that they could do their construction work while that sewer line was active and being replaced. Same thing here. It's going to be abandoned in place, but the priority in terms of timing was hotel first. That project just completed a week, maybe a week and a half ago, and they're progressing to this site.
So our portion of the utilities for the alley aren't done yet. I mean, we're getting ready. We're getting ready to do
contract's
this.
in place and preparations are in place, but it's not
Gotcha.
completed.
Gotcha. I just wanted to confirm that our financial advisors have looked at the plans and the feasibility studies that have been done for all three of the core projects.
They
Is
did
that correct?
initially. I think we've discussed it previously, but we set back the commencement dates for the community improvement districts to better synchronize with the projects. We've had conversations jointly with Salina 2020, our bond counsel, and our financial advisors looking at the interest rate environment and whether that impacts when it might be advisable to issue star bonds in particular, as well as the legislative environment. So there will be need for another round of reviewing the feasibility studies in advance of the star bond issuance. So they reviewed the initial feasibility study, they reviewed a revised feasibility study, and they will be reviewing
One
the
more.
feasibility at least one more time before star bond issuance.
Gotcha. In the event, and I certainly hope this doesn't come to pass, in the event that, okay, we've assigned the star bonds and the CID rights and proceeds to the bank, in the event of like a default or a failure, where do those rights and proceeds go next? Do they stay with the bank? Do they go back to the master developer?
And Greg may be able to speak to this better than I can, but the intent is that those commitments to the income stream are collateral for the loan for the alley project. So it would retain with the bank, and then I would remind you as well that this is pay-as-you-go. So
Right.
specifically with respect to the community improvement district, if the project doesn't go forward, it's all theoretical. There's no CID increment to be captured and reallocated elsewhere.
Gotcha. And I'm just working down my list of questions here. Have the Phase 1 and Phase 2 environmental studies, have those come back yet? And that may be a question. Those have come back yet. Okay, so the SBA loan, we're good on that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yes, the SBA has signed off. They have given their acceptable rating for everything. The KDHE has agreed that everything that is there was prior to us, and we have not done anything to the land. So if any kind of issues come up, we will be placed in one of 3 programs that KDHE has that take care of any of the issues. So Donlinger will continue to monitor the situation as they do with every build, because you never know what you're going to encounter, and they will report on it. And if there is a problem, then KDHE will be called, and then we will be placed into one of the programs that they have. There will be no cost incurred to us. So, and then I wanted to give you a point of clarification when you ask about the default situation. You know, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the Star Bond money is not even eligible to be paid until the day after the facility opens.
Right.
So there would be a facility there no matter if the Star Bonds would not be paid prior to us opening. So there's no risk there involved.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
So
failed
I just wanted to
touch on that.
clarify that for you.
There would be a building there, and that's good, and I see Larry's behind you, so I don't know
Yeah.
if he wants to
Yeah.
add to that. Thank
The
you.
bank will just, you know.
American State Bowling Alley.
Thanks, Commissioner Hodges. Larry Brittingham, President of American State Bank here in Salina. I just wanted to say a few comments that everything has been approved for the DeSocios to build this $7.5 to $8 million project in the downtown redevelopment project. We are closing that tomorrow, which is within the time frame of what we're supposed to. We're close, but we're going to get it closed tomorrow morning, actually. So we're very excited about that. We have no issues from our standpoint or from legal counsel on both sides. We've worked through all the things that you normally work through on a project this size, which is pretty consistent process when you have something that this type of investment from this family in Salina. So we're very excited about it. I'm very convinced tomorrow's the day, and we'll be able to move forward with trailer. And we may have mentioned before, Kathy's family has been in the bowling business for 60 years, and Frank is president of the national organization. And so they are the best of the best. There's nobody better in the country to have on your team than them. And so it's a real honor for us, and it's a big piece of this project from when we first started 4.5, 5 years ago to have them, and they have been wonderful through 4 years of highs and lows and obstacles and things that get in the way just by these types of projects. But we are fully on board, and tomorrow's the day, and excited to be a part of that. So any other questions you might have? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brigham. Any other questions or comments from commissioners? Are we ready to take action? We'll bring it back up here. Yeah.
Public comment.
Oh, is there anyone from the public that would like to comment? I'm sorry. There being none, we are back up here.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we approve resolution number 18-7586, authorizing the mayor to execute and consent to an agreement of transferee agreement and development agreement rights to receive Star Bond proceeds and CID reimbursements and security agreement between FIB LLC and American State Bank and Trust Company.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any additional comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 5-0. Mr. Tragg, is there anything else, any comments or anything before we adjourn?
None on my part.
Okay. I did receive information today that our Salina Library was nominated top 5 in the state of Kansas, so that's kind of a nice little thing.
Oh.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I did, that triggered me, I'm sorry. That's on you, Mayor Ryan. I would like to congratulate the Salina Falcons on their state championship, and hopefully we can have a proclamation to recognize them at our next meeting. But in the meantime, congratulations to all the kids and the coaches and the parents.
I guess you've triggered me as well. I don't know if you saw that The Salina Police Department took the lip sync challenge and posted that. I don't recall the number off the top of my head. Rachel had a number of views, and it was approaching 200,000, I believe. So it was startling how many people have seen that.
Will there be a link on the website to that?
I know it's been distributed by way of social media. We could certainly put it on our website.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.